Habits are everything. When you are trying to become an expert in AI and machine learning, you need habits. It's not easy to become an expert in AI and ML, especially if you want a job that involves you applying AI or ML skills. You need a routine. If you follow these habits, which I am trying to follow myself, number one, you will enjoy learning the difficult concepts. And number two, your decision making in ML will start to become a second nature to you, and your current employers or your future employers will see this. I want to start off by saying that by no means am I considering myself to be an expert, because the moment I start to say that I'm an expert in ML, I will stop learning. So I never want to claim that I'm an expert, but hear me out, because a lot of these habits are not just made up habits. These are coming from my experience so far as a graduate student with a PhD, habits that I've applied in my life to learn something new and become an expert in that field. So even though a lot of these habits are things that I'm working on myself, I really feel like it will add value to your learning journey. Hear me out when I say that these 7 habits will help you become an expert in machine learning. Also, at the end of the video, I want to know your thoughts on what habits you think are the most important, or if I missed some really important habits, do let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more. That helps our community way more than you think. And lastly, before we move on, I really like to thank every one of you for watching this video and subscribing to the channel. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep going. And also, I have not forgotten the fact that you've all requested for a specific video on the mathematics of machine learning. It is coming up, so stay tuned. Now let's get right back to it. So the very first habit that I follow every day, almost every day, is I spend the first couple of hours at work or a couple of hours during my day in general reading on some of the latest papers that are being published out there. This is a very important habit because not only are you gaining expertise and knowledge in what other people are doing, a lot of times you get your own new ideas from reading what other people are doing. And these published work will not only inform you, but also helps your mind and your brain think more critically, number one, and also help you develop ideas. So these two aspects of reading a paper every day, it may not be an entire paper, but at least spending some time every day reading what's out there, what people are working on, is very important and goes a long way in your journey to become an expert in machine learning in whatever domain you're in, whether that's the finance domain, or if you're in chemistry like me, or if you're in biology, the medical field as well. So each of these scientific fields or even financial fields have some latest technologies that are coming up. And if you keep yourself up to date, then not only can you build the necessary skills that you need, but you're also improving your creativity by saying, okay, here's some idea that someone else applied. I can do better because I've got this idea which I think will do better. So it helps your career grow in general. So the first habit, developing your domain knowledge and also maintaining your domain knowledge, goes a long way. Do you try to keep up with the domain knowledge? How many papers a day do you read within your domain? Or if you're not a researcher, how do you keep up with the latest trends and technology that's coming out, especially in the field of AI and machine learning? Let me know in the comments below. Now, this second habit is very important because a lot of times we just think that, we know almost everything we need to know. A lot of times, even when it comes to learning, we think that we're learning everything there is to learn. A lot of times, our work is not judged or decided by us. It's judged and decided based off of other people's opinion. It could be your supervisor, it could be an audience out there, whatever it may be, whoever it may be. There are other people who actually review the work that you do. So it's very important to get opinions and feedback from not only your supervisors, but also from your peers, people who are learning, who are at the same stage as you are in. So the second habit is get feedback on your work from joining a community dedicated to learning and sharing knowledge in AI and machine learning. I usually find communities on LinkedIn, groups on LinkedIn that I join. And if you're not on that platform, not sponsored by anybody, but do get on that platform, join these groups. You will see a lot of people sharing their knowledge and skills. And I think that goes a long way in learning, getting feedback, and also developing a community of like-minded people that will help you grow. Now you might think, okay, I've took some courses to learn machine learning or get into AI, and now I want to actually do a project. But the first thing that you face is hurdles in terms of whether it could be coding or, lack of knowledge of a concept. There's always a challenge that, makes you feel like, oh, this is not the field for me, or this is not the subject that I need to be working on. Or sometimes it might even make you think that, oh, it's almost impossible for me, someone who has zero experience with coding or zero experience with math to learn and get into machine learning. That is absolutely false. It's all in your head. So this habit is very important in countering that feeling. And this habit has everything to do with learning how to debug not just your coding problems, but also in general, any problems that you may come across. It could be a problem where you're trying to learn a concept and you're not able to learn. So how do you debug that situation? Debugging skills as a programmer and as a machine learning engineer or even a data scientist is very important. What I normally do is I turn to communities either on Stack Exchange or even sometimes on LinkedIn groups where people share snippets of their information and how they solved a particular problem. Like if you're, for example, also looking at a website like Kaggle, they do have discussions on projects where people are talking about the problems they're encountering with the data sets. So that goes back to our habit of building and staying within a community. So focus every day on spending some time to debug your code, or if you're not understanding a concept, go out there, look for textbooks or online videos, or, these days you've got so many resources out there. Just Googling will help you a long way. Try to solve these problems on your own. Get in the habit of doing that, because in the broad scheme of things, all the work you do involves solving problems. So get good at solving problems. That leads me to the next habit: practice, practice, practice. You may hear this quite a lot from a lot of places, but it's the truth. It's a fact that practice will make you perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but you get the point. So practicing more frequently and often in terms of building models, cleaning data, dealing with problems in the data sets. These are very important techniques that you need to learn and practice over and over again so that it becomes a second nature to you. So focus on practicing every day, because if you learn something one day and you don't use it at all for like a week, there's absolutely no use for the time that you've spent in learning. And also there's no way that you can get back one day and be like, okay, I know what this is. So even to me, it's really hard to practice every day, but I do try my very best to at least keep up with what's happening out there and try hands-on implementing someone else's work as well. That also goes a long way. That leads me to habit number 5, which is continuous learning. Now, you might think, okay, all of this, the first 4 habits that I've spoken about, aren't they all basically allowing you to learn continuously? Why do you need this extra habit? So the fact is, you need an extra habit that involves specifically focusing on learning something new. It says, okay, here's a new algorithm that just came out, that somebody published. Let's learn this algorithm. Spend a few minutes, maybe every week or during the weekends, when you're off work, learn those algorithms, because a lot of times you don't know how fast things can move, especially in this field, that you can be left behind very quickly. The next thing you know, people will all of a sudden start hiring like crazy for a position that involves this new concept. And if you're not there prepared, then you might lose out on that opportunity. So actively learn a new algorithm, even if you feel like you may not ever apply that in your field. Okay, I just checked. That was habit number 5. So habit number 6 is experiment. Experiment with anything and everything, like try something new. If you're not able to follow a particular plan, experiment by changing that plan. And the reason I say that this is a habit is because a lot of times we try the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and that will not happen. So you have to experiment with something new. Like for example, I experiment a lot on this channel with the videos I make. If you take a look at the other videos that I've made, they all have different styles and different, topics that I talk about. So this experimentation on a daily basis or regularly needs to become a habit, and that will help you learn and grow faster. So in terms of machine learning, you can experiment with something new. Like for example, let's say feature generation. Try using different methods, experiment with different things to modify your features. Maybe there's a set of features that might really work well and provide the results and accuracies that you're actually aiming for. So make that a habit. Okay, final habit. And I think this is a habit that a lot of people struggle with. I clearly struggle with this, and I'm trying to improve on this. This is the problem with documentation. We're not good at documenting what we do. And it's important to document because let's say months from now, you remember something that you had tried, and only thing is you don't know whether or not it worked. So you want to go back. We can't go back in time, right? So unless you can, let us know. So if we have documented back then and there whether or not a certain procedure or a process worked, then we can go back, just check our notes, see if it worked or not, or what the results were. And that helps us to move forward in terms of making better decisions, right? Documentation not only provides insight from the past, but also provides a future perspective. So this is something that I struggle with. I have notes on my desk everywhere, and I need to have it organized in maybe one notepad and one book or something like that is tracked with date and time. So that's something that I'm working on. And documentation is going to really help you when it comes to learning and growing as a machine learning expert, because you can always refer to your notes to see whether or not what you did in the past relates to what you're working on right now. It helps you take better decisions and faster decisions. So that's how you become an expert. So if you are a beginner in learning AI and machine learning, simply sticking to these habits is not going to be helpful. You also need a proper plan. So if you don't have a proper plan, I have this video here for you that will help you make a proper plan and transition into AI and ML. So until then, let me know in the comments below, which habit did you feel is the most important? And if I missed out on any of them, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And like as always, hit that like button to support the channel and subscribe to learn more. Thank you for watching.